Hi, today the goal is to get a good picture of the black woodpecker. A few weeks ago I was here in the same place filming the video about the back button focus, and I saw some of these birds. This bird is not usual here in this part of Germany, so I find it very interesting to come back to see and hope to find this bird to get a good photo. But the weather is changing, and it's changing very fast, so it can be that we can get some strong rain. If the rain comes, it will be maybe a good chance to take good pictures of birds under the rain, no matter if I can find the black woodpecker. So let's go. Okay, we will be having rain in just a few minutes for sure. The wind is very strong and, well, who cares? But it is a good chance to take pictures of birds in rain. It's always nice to take this kind of pictures because you can see the birds in his environment fighting against the rain, and you can take some good pictures. But the first is, of course, to protect your gear. No matter if your gear is water resistant, weather sealed, whatever, it is always important to cover your camera gear. Between all the buttons and sailings, if it is a strong rain, the water will come in no matter what you do. So the best is to use these plastic bags. You have a lot of different rain covers. I use just these simple plastic bags I have always with me because I really didn't thought that it will be rain today, but whatever, you have to use it. The same with the Nikon who is filming. And something very important is, of course, to cover the hot shoe where you used to put your flashlight. I use these simple rubber sealing devices that can keep me all this hot shoe safe of rain. So let's walk to a more open space, because with the strong wind I really don't like to be here under these trees. And let's see what we have to do to get really good pictures of birds in rain. Well, the first thing to consider if you want to take good pictures of birds under the rain is that in these pictures we want to show the drama of the rain, and that involves directly the shutter speed. If I use a too high shutter speed, 1/1000, 1/2000, I will freeze the raindrops, and of course that always will appear as noise in the image. I need to choose a shutter speed that get me these raindrops a little bit blurry and shows me the raindrops falling, so you can get the drama of these pictures. Of course, you have to consider that the only raindrops you will get in this image will be the ones that will be in the same field of the bird you're taking the pictures. So the bird you will focus will be sharp, and all the raindrops in the same field will be sharp too. For me, the best, considering my 600mm Sigma, a shutter speed that shows me the drama of the rain is about 1/320 and 1/400, maximum 1/500. More than that will only freeze the raindrops and will seems like it were noise, not rain. We will use a slow shutter speed, not usual to take pictures of birds, just with the goal to get the raindrops in the image. That means that we can mainly take only pictures of birds that are still over a branch on a stick, but not birds flying around. maybe you can get it, but it depends of how strong the rain is, so you have to find it out which is the highest shutter speed you can use until the raindrops freeze. But the best is to take the pictures of birds, yes, still and quiet, sitting somewhere. I'm not sure if I can cross through these trees. I'm waiting that the wind stops a little bit. Let's see. By the way, with this wind, all the leaves are falling down, and every time I see something moving, I think it's a bird, but no, it's a leaf falling down from the trees. But, well. Ooh. Let's keep going. Impressive, the wind. The second important thing to consider and to get really good pictures is that you have to get close to the bird. Why? Because all the raindrops between your camera and the bird will only be noise in the image. That will get you a bad contrast, will look like if you're using a high ISO, and don't seem good. So you have to get close to the bird. And the best for this is to go step by step closer to the bird. And for each step you go close to the bird, take as much pictures as you can until the bird flies away. But try to minimize the distance between the bird and the camera. And that's the way you can avoid all this rain between the bird and your camera. In the distance, it looks like a very heavy rain is next to Cam. Just watch. I have no problem now with the rain, but the Nikon Z7 is covered by an umbrella, and if there is wind, the umbrella will be useless. Let's keep going. I have been waiting for a while for the woodpecker, but nothing happened. So let's keep talking about the birds under the rain. One very important thing is, and like always in any kind of picture, is the background. But in birds in rain it takes a major relevance, because if you take pictures of the bird with a gray background, the raindrops will not appear in the image. So you have to choose a background, a green background, a dark background, a gray, I don't know, any kind of background. In there you can see the raindrops and they don't lose in the brightness of the sky. Sometimes you feel so alone here, but definitively to take pictures of bird under the rain is an adventure. I had to change the cap from the objective because the camera fell down and it broke. But I have more than one. I need to reach the other road, but with these winds I'm a little bit afraid to cross through the trees, but I guess I don't have other chance. I'm far away from where I left the car, so I think it's maybe a good idea to start to go back to the car. I get here in a more open area.
Hickory dickory dock, the
but the mist is not the best. It will add a lot of noise in the image, and I have to get really close to the birds. I guess I have to change location. Let's see. It's funny how the birds are now in the top of the trees, but it's not easy to aim to the upper part of the trees because they will get a lot of rain inside the front lens, and I don't want that. The best is to keep it horizontal or looking back, but not up. Let's keep walking. Under these conditions, in there I want to get a slow shutter speed to show the raindrops. A must is to have a monopod or a tripod. So at least I can minimize the shaking of the camera and focus me only in the shutter speed to freeze the bird and not to freeze the raindrops. There was a nice chipmunk in the top of the tree, but too far away and with a really ugly background. Let's keep going. To photograph birds under the rain is of course a good chance to show the environment. You can get the birds under hard conditions, and that's always a good picture. You can change the texture of the image. It's absolutely different than taking pictures of a sunny day about birds. It's getting colder and colder. It was no surprise if just in a few hours it will maybe start to snow, and I don't have my gloves. Okay, under these conditions, only one good photo, and I will feel myself paid. But it seems to be hard to get a good photo. The rain is getting a little bit slower now, but the wind is coming out. Well, let's see what can happen. The worst thing is with this kind of weather, there is a very low contrast, and the Sigma does really a hard job to focus over the bird. Wide open, slow shutter speed, but the autofocus, it's really trying to get that picture. Well, there was a lot of birds there, but they fly all away. No matter. Let's keep walking. Whoa, absolutely wet my monopod. Well, anyway, that is like an adventure, and once at least you have to try to do this. Here in Germany, of course, I have a lot of days to choose to go out on a rainy day to take pictures. When I lived in South America, we was all praying to get a rainy day, and here I have never been so much rain. Great. It's funny how you find here in the middle of nowhere in the woods this old shelter, who knows what it is, and the sailboat. Who knows how much years has been this sailboat abandoned here. Well, funny. Okay, the wind started, and at times very, very strong. So much that the Nikon on the tripod wants to fall down. I think that was all for today. It's time to go home. It's about 2.5, 3 hours to the place where I left the car. And well, thank you to be with me in this video. I hope you like it. And I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.